Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. I hope you're doing well. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. We've got some exciting United Stand news for you to come, but let's start off with the United news. And it's a story of two youngsters really. Angel Gomes potentially leaving Manchester United and Jude Bellingham being offered a senior role at Manchester United to come and sign for us at Old Trafford. So let's start off with this. I'm gonna try and do them both together. In the sense that Jude Bellingham is still 16, he'll be 17 in the summer. Angel Gomes is 19 and he'll be 20 in August. That's a 3 and a bit year gap. And yet we are still saying we want Angel Gomes to stay. He's going to be a fantastic player for us. And then you've got Jude Bellingham, who's also a midfielder, 3 years younger, playing 30 plus games in the Championship at 16. And this, to me, is the problem with Angel Gomes. And it's not Angel Gomes' fault. I spoke on a video in January where I'd been told that Angel Gomes is not happy at Manchester United. He feels that he's not been given the opportunities. Unless there's a big change in the hierarchy, he would leave. Now, that's a difficult thing to swallow when you're talking about hierarchy, because are you talking about the coaching setup here? Are you talking about Solskjaer? Are you talking that Gomes is going to leave United unless Solskjaer leaves United? And that doesn't really fit in with what a lot of us want to hear. But it's not. It's going to be like, doesn't matter how great your boss is, there might be somebody who at your place who just doesn't like working for that regime. And I think Gomes leaving Manchester United has always been a very big possibility. The latest news is that Chelsea have held talks with him. There's even talks of Arsenal this morning. The reality is, you can say, oh, he's not going to go to Arsenal. It's probably exactly the sort of signing Arsenal would do, because he's going to be free at the end of June, or however they change that. He's out of contract. He can go to Barcelona now. He can go to Lyon. He can go to Juventus. He can go anywhere from January, because that's how it works. When you're out of contract, you can speak to clubs outside the Premier League. But this summer, he can speak to Premier League clubs. Chelsea want him. Arsenal might want him. Other Premier League clubs might want him. And the reality is we will probably lose him, because it's financially viable for clubs to take Gomes offers because they're not paying anything other than his wage. It happened with Ander Herrera. You don't have to pay a transfer fee for a player that you want, so you can pump that into wages. Now, Angel Gomes wants about £30,000 a week at Manchester United, which is quite a lot, but you pay it or you don't. And the reality is, it's another example of Manchester United and their failure when it comes to contract renewals. We're still not there. And transfers were still not quite there. We've had a good year, but we're still very bad at contract renewals. And we saw Herrera go. We saw Martial and De Gea and other players. Mata's contract went right down to the end as well. We've seen these contracts run down, and it's all about saving money. But the reality is, we're going to probably lose Angel Gomes for one reason and one reason only. We did not do what we should have done with him last summer. We said we've got Chongi, we've got Mason, we've got Angel, and we've not used Chongi and Angel. I mean, Chongi's still here because nobody would pay him his wages abroad, so he signed a contract here. Gomes has not done that. Gomes is looking at his options. You've got to respect that. The point is, he should have gone on loan. He should have gone on loan to the Championship last season, and we didn't do it, and we've wasted a year of his career. He's going to be 20 in August, and we've wasted a year of his career. How much first-team football has he played at Manchester United in this year that we kept him for? Next to nothing. Now, you can say, well, he's not good enough, and you might be right. You might well be right. Angel Gomes may well not be good enough. But I would say this is a player that has been tipped to be good enough for a very long time. This is a player that, was it 3 years ago? Was it 3 years ago that Jose Mourinho took Wayne Rooney off in the last game of the season and brought Angel Gomes on? He was 16 then. He was 16. How many games has he played since then? We have not nurtured this player enough, and I will say that to anybody. We have not given him the opportunities. And for anybody who says, well, maybe he's not good enough, have you seen who's played at number 10 for us this season who clearly is not good enough? You know the two players I'm talking about. I don't even need to name their names. I'm not going down that road. What I'm saying is, how could he have been any worse? They didn't score goals. They didn't create chances. And week after week, they were given that spot. And he should have been given an opportunity. I hope he's going to stay at Manchester United. I really do. But if he doesn't, we've got to take all the risk as a football club, because we did not give him the opportunities. And can you blame him for looking to leave? I still hope he'll sign a new contract. But I think he's going to get an offer where they're going to say, we will nurture you. We will give you the opportunities. Come and play for us. And I think he will go. I really do. On Jude Bellingham, I'm encouraged. And from a potential negative to what I think would be a real positive, we need to get this deal over the line with Jude Bellingham. And I think we've got a future star in the making there. And you can almost rectify your mistake with Gomes with Jude Bellingham. he is potentially going to be offered a first-team role. And this is what the Standard are saying. To get him to come to United, they're going to offer him a first-team role. That doesn't mean he's going to start, but it certainly means he will be involved. Now, is he capable of being involved with the first team? Well, you know, your initial thought is, let's get this great talent who's 16 and played 30 games in the Championship and looks like he's going to be a superstar of the future. Let's just get hold of him and let's loan him back. But what if you get hold of him and you start giving him games in the Premier League and he's good enough? You know, if he can play for Birmingham City, who are a mid-table Championship club, he can probably play for Norwich or a Bournemouth in the Premier League. And if he can play for a Norwich or a Bournemouth in the Premier League, how far is he from playing, 10 games in his first season at Manchester United? So, Carabao Cup, the odd Champions League game, the odd Premier League game. 10 Premier League games at 16, 17 for United next season. We might be able to do that. What I don't want to do with Bellingham is sign him, not loan him, then not play him. It's the whole Dean Henderson thing. We know that Dean Henderson's a fantastic goalkeeper, young up-and-coming goalkeeper at Sheffield United. We know he is. But if we bring him back and sit him on the bench, it's a waste of time. He's got to play. His development is key and he needs to play. And he's not going to play ahead of De Gea, is he, for a lot of people? So he needs to go back on loan. Jude Bellingham, no point him playing 30 plus games at 16 in the Championship if when he's 17 he's just going to sit in our reserves. He's got to play. So we've got to be able to find a way for him. Now, how does he fit in at United? I don't know, but I'm quite encouraged by it because I would loan him out. But if we can get him involved in the first team, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to tell you about the United Stand news now. We were involved in the United Stand FC was involved in the Blood Brothers League last year. Obviously, with the pandemic, it's difficult to even start filming that. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a United Stand FC digital team. FIFA, Xbox, PS4, you can play for the United Stand FC in a pro club side, which is going to go into a tournament against AFTV, I think DTFC, and a couple of others as well. Links in the video description if you want to do that. All you've got to do, go to the link in the video description, go to Xbox or PS4, enter the tournament, and obviously the best players from the tournament will go into the scouting process to get into the United Stand FC team. It's something to do while we're in lockdown, and it's a big opportunity to get involved in something that's going to be a lot of fun. The link's in the video description to do that. There's prize money up for grabs as well, so there is an entry fee. Links in the video description. Get involved. If you fancy yourself at FIFA... Oh, look, I don't even know if I'll make the team. I probably won't, but I'm going to enter. So you might get to play me at some right. I might get knocked out in the first round, but I'm going to enter. It's a bit of fun. It's being run by eSoccer Championships, and they'll run all the whole how the tournament runs. But the link's in the video description for that. Let's talk about who else do we want to talk about next? Yeah, let's talk about this. Was quite an interesting one. I saw this by Sky Germany yesterday. Alassane Pli, who's a Mönchengladbach striker, being linked to Manchester United now. I feel that Moussa Dembele is the one, and I think the 24 hours after I spoke about Moussa Dembele on Monday night, it's funny that a lot of people are now talking about him. This is not my source telling me about Moussa Dembele. This is just my deduction of evidence. As I said yesterday, we were told at the end of March that United were willing to let Agallo go and they were looking to buy a striker. And for me, when you look at it, I think it's Moussa Dembele. All the noise coming out of Lyon is that he wants to come to United. Lyon are saying that they're going to have to sell, and I think we'd get him for about 40 million. So I think it is Moussa Dembele, but I have got no concrete evidence of that. I think it is. But we are getting linked to other people. We had Vinicius yesterday of Benfica. That's sort of gathering a bit of potential. I quite like the look of him. But this one, Alassane Pli, is very interesting. You might not know much about him. Watch out for our video that's going out at lunchtime. It's basically a Man United fan guide to the Bundesliga. It's only about 7 minutes long. It'll give you everything you need to know about the Bundesliga if you're going to be watching it, etc. But he plays for Mönchengladbach. I think Mönchengladbach are certainly in the top. I think they're fourth actually at the moment. So they're doing very, very well. Zakaria plays for them as well. French striker, 27, about 6 foot. I think he's scored like 8 goals in 20 games. Contract's not up till about 2023, so I don't see why United are looking at him. I mean, he's an okay striker. I don't see that. I just don't see United being in for this play. I mean, you could say we're bringing him in to be a bench player striker like Agallo, but I'd say it doesn't make sense to me why United would go and do that, and you'd probably have to pay a decent amount of money for him. But look, we can't ignore news because we don't think it's credible news. I think it's an interesting one with him, and we'll just have to wait and see. Adrian Rabiot is apparently on strike. This is coming out of Italy again. He's on strike. How do you be on strike when you're on lockdown? I don't know. I don't know what the situation is with Juventus at the moment, and I don't know whether they are back training or not. But apparently he is on strike. And yeah, that's the situation with Rabiot. And he's on strike because he's forcing a move. Well, look, I'll go back to what I said yesterday about Rabiot. I don't really want him at Manchester United, if I'm honest. If we buy him, I'll welcome him, and you've got to trust Solskjaer, and you've got to trust the fact that the player wants to come. But I do think that it's a little bit like, if you're going to your local Tesco or Sainsbury's or whatever, and the quickest route is a 10-minute drive, and you do it all the time, and you know that that's been the best route for you. And then on that route, somebody says, "Oh, there's a shortcut here across the dirt track." You might go over it and pop your wheels, but if you do it, you'll be there a minute quicker. Is it worth taking that risk over a dirt track where you might knacker up your suspension for a minute that might not work out, or do you just keep doing what you're doing? And I think with United, you just keep doing what you're doing, because yeah, we might shave a minute off our time, but the risks of going down that dirt track and smashing up your suspension and giving yourself a puncture, it's not worth it. Our track at the moment is buying people like Wan-Bissaka and Bruno Fernandes, who are doing fantastically well at their club and are ready to and hungry to take the next step, and at the right age. That's what's working for us. Why veer away from that towards a Rabiot who's been at PSG and left, he's been at Juventus and left, and now he's coming to another big club, maybe at Manchester United? And are the problems still not the problems that were there at PSG and Juventus? It's risks, and we've made loads of risks over the years. I mean, Di Maria for 60 million, and then we're selling him for 45 12 months later. It's just not work. We don't need to do it. And I think when you're in a position of comfort, take a risk. United, way back in the early 90s, when we bought Cantona from Leeds, it was a calculated risk, and it was worth doing because we were trying desperately to get that little bit extra to win a title, and it worked. We are in a position where we're not even a top 4 club. We're not a top 4 club at the moment, but we can be, and the momentum is pushing us into that area. Why take a risk to derail that? I think risks in football are fine, but with signings, you've got to be in a position to take a risk. I don't feel that United need to take risks at the moment. What we're doing is working well, and for every Rabiot, there's 5 or 6 other players that fit the profile of a Bruno or a Wan-Bissaka who are ready to make that step up. Rabiot would be expensive as well. For me, it isn't the one to do. Anyway, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe if you're new. We've got the Bundesliga guide video coming up at lunchtime. Make sure you give that a watch. And also, a bit of exciting news this morning. If you fancy yourself as a FIFA player, you think you can get into the United Stand team, the tournament is now open. The link is in the video description. It's tournaments on Xbox and PS4, so whatever platform you've got, get yourself in there now fast. Links in the video description for that, and register for the tournament. You could end up playing in the United Stand FC Pro Team Club team in the Blood Brothers digital tournament against AFTV and everyone like that. So we want you. And look, and it doesn't matter how good you are, because you might get better in the tournament. I'm going to enter. Who knows? Who knows how good the actual talent pool will be? I don't think we're going to get Minimoto or anyone like that getting involved. So links in the video description for that. Something for you to do on lockdown as well. I'll speak to you all soon. Watch out for the Bundesliga thing as well, and I'll speak to you later.